you've said this before, and I agree with you 100%. People think that the law of attraction is saying yes to the universe. And it's like, no, 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 no. It's saying yes to what you want.
Saying yes to the right things. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so, So that's a powerful why. It's my grandchildren to be.
I love that. Cause I think a lot of people are afraid to go find that, like, quote unquote, more selfish why. How's it going, everybody? Xander Fryer, CEO and founder of High Impact Coaching, here with the founder of SOS Dojo, Sales Objection System Dojo, Joe Marcoux, the Frenchman from Canada.
Yes.
Joe, super excited to get you on. Welcome to the party.
Xander, I'm thrilled to be here, man. I can't say enough about you and your team and just this community that you have at High Impact Coaching. Literally, it's been like 10 weeks so far. I'm in your accelerator group, but even in 10 weeks, the impact that you guys have had on my business and even in terms of my other things going on in terms of my life, awesome. Really appreciate you guys. Worth every penny, everybody.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that you're seeing that impact. But
awesome.
Enough about me. Let's talk about you. So Joe, you're a sales wizard. You're a sales master. I mean, we're cut from the same cloth. I'm a big fan of sales. I always tell people you can't coach anybody unless you sell people into your programs, right?
Correct.
So when it comes to business, I always tell people we have to business and sell first and coach second. So Joe, I'd love for you to dig in. You're a sales wizard now. I'd love for you to dig into like how you got to this point. Like, I just love to understand a little bit more of how you got to this point, because you're an amazing salesperson to me, and I just love hearing how people got to this point.
Man, this is a very interesting journey, and so it all stems back. I was 15 years old. I got into health, fitness, got into bodybuilding, and then by the age of 18, I started managing an exercise equipment retail store. By the age of 20, I thought, I'm going to open up my own. So at 20 years old, I started my own exercise equipment retail store, and I had to sell, and it was high-end equipment. At 20 years old, I couldn't personally afford the equipment that I was selling to other people. Yeah. So this was, treadmills, ellipticals, very large home gyms. And then we also started going into commercial sales.
Nice.
This is how, and my belief, and you've done this very well in the launch program, the why helped me get to that space where in my heart, in my spirit, in my mind, my mindset, my why is so powerful. And I take Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why. And I do the same thing in some of my programming, where we start with what's your why? And once you know and you've defined your why, so when I defined my why, which was, okay, I want to help people live a better quality of life through the benefits of total health and exercise. And that comes out real quick because I defined it and I wrote it.
Yeah.
And it's up on my vision board as we speak, which I did a non-dominant hand exercise. Right. It looks like a child wrote it because it was powerful for me. So my why is powerful. Well, when you have a powerful why, then you have to continue to program your beliefs. And you talk about limiting beliefs in your program constantly. And that's the whole thing. It's like, okay, what are my beliefs around this? So when I have a why that gets me out of bed and I believe in what I'm offering people, then I have what I call power and conviction. So if we fast forward from the age of 20 to 25, I merge my company with another exercise equipment retail company, and we go from 7 stores to 38 in 18 months. We scale. Big learning lessons, because I end up learning from other professionals and whatnot.
Yeah.
And in that time, from 18 to 25, name the sales masters, the gurus that I went and saw. Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn. I got an opportunity to share an elevator ride with him and whatnot.
Oh man, that's amazing.
It was awesome. Super guy, right? I was given a front row ticket to meet Mr. Rohn. Bob Proctor on several occasions. T. Harv Eker and the group. Jack Canfield I got to see a couple times. Mark Victor Hansen and I did a workshop by the time I was in my early 30s after my first book came out, called Boutique Thinking in a Big Box World. And that was so we go back to 2007, and I've always had an affinity towards sales. I don't look at it as oh, I hate sales.
Yeah. But that's
You
because
said something
you developed a big belief and a deep why behind it.
right. So for me, my why and my powerful belief, it
Yeah.
was because I believe in what I'm doing so much, I'm not selling. I'm helping people across the finish line with the products or services that I'm offering.
And I want to point out something really quickly here too, because I think this is really key. Because a lot of us have heard like, if you sell something you believe in, it gets easier. But so many coaches out there are like, I believe in my coaching, but I still suck at selling. Right.
Right.
And I think something that I want to commend you for what you've done is like, and I want to make sure this doesn't get brushed over. You work on that belief. Like you talking about like you do exercises with your non-dominant hand to remind you of your why. Like it's not like the belief is just there or it's not. Like beliefs
Right.
are constantly being built, right? They're either being built in the right direction or the wrong direction. And you actively focused on building your beliefs in the right direction.
And well, thank you. And again, you've in your program, you've been able to help me again refocus on that constant
Yeah.
belief. And it's constant, it's daily practice. What you've been able to provide is I'm able to put into my perfect week formula, thanks Craig Ballantyne, to of my regular
Yeah.
outcomes of what I want of my morning and my meditation times. And then with like these RIM sessions that you're providing us, it's just like which gets me way more like pinpointed with my why, which is
Yeah.
awesome. And so to be able to tell people we have to transform ourselves. I think the general populace, when I said, yeah, my sales objection system dojo is transformational, that it's not good marketing.
It's tough. It's tough for people to understand. Yeah.
It's what happens. And so exactly that. I mean, in training, whether you're a sales samurai or a black belt, I tell people when you reach the black belt level, that's when training really begins.
Yeah. Still
And
got
what
9
you
degrees
say,
of black belt.
well, that's just it. And then you start to understand that, hey, my fundamentals are critical, that I need to work my fundamentals on a regular basis so that then I can start doing these little tweaks of what I call like Jedi mind tricks, which do work, by the way. Neurolinguistic programming and the power of words will have a profound effect on influence and persuasion. However, if my why and my belief isn't there, doesn't matter how much
Yeah.
mumbo jumbo that I learn. I've got to have the power here first.
Yeah.
So you're there. And so, yeah, I've been a constant learner, and I'm closing in on the big 5-0, and I'm still feeling, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know.
You got plenty more to go, right?
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I've got plenty of energy left. And what's interesting, Xander, is that my why, I start having more whys. It's
Yeah.
not just about, okay, I want to help people do better at it's not just about helping people live a better quality of life through the benefits of total health and exercise. It's great. I help coaches that do that. I'm leveraging myself through them. Now I'm also helping, whether people are selling their products or services and they don't like sales, I'm helping them understand their why, whilst I'm also giving them scripts and the practice.
Yeah.
That's what we do in the dojo.
So let me ask you this. You said you have multiple whys. I was talking to Yuri Elkame, fellow Canadian for you. And he was talking about how, a lot of people, when they really work on their why, they try and develop this why around like the big impact in the world and other people, and which is great. And he's like, but for a lot of us, we're scared to admit that there's actually a really deep why that would appear somewhat selfish sometimes. And
it's great.
we oversee it. And one of the things he said is like, I love having an impact. I love helping people. But my biggest why is personally, I just want to always see what's possible for me.
Oh, that's great.
Right. And I'd love to understand if you have any whys like that might appear a little bit more selfish. I think that's one of the ones for me. It's like, don't get me wrong. Like me and Maddie are very well off. Right. But like, I never consider myself someone who like flaunts our money. I don't go around buying Lamborghinis and stuff like that.
Right.
But part of me, right, knows like, okay, if money is just a identifier of the impact that we're making, well then selfishly, I kind of look at this like a video game. Like, can I get the high score?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. I
And
like
so
that.
like
You're
it's interesting.
competitive by nature,
Yeah. So
right?
I'd
We
love to
all are. That's
understand,
okay.
like, yeah, I'd love to understand if you've ever found anything like that, digging in your different, the different layers of why for
Yeah,
Joe.
I love it. I love it. So part of it is the competitive edge.
Yeah.
It's not just in terms of my, okay, what number can I do next? It like I want to applaud other people's success. I don't want to live in a space of
Yeah.
envy. However, if in an accountability group, it's like, okay, so what's the number that you're going to hit this month? Okay, I'm on it. Because
Yeah.
I just want to get, and it's not even about the money. It's just, okay, bragging rights for me this month, right? And yet I want somebody to get to first place. If I get knocked down to third, and yet my business is still growing, it's just that competitive. So there's a why.
Yeah.
I'm going to share with you something, from my heart, and I'm actually going to share it like this. I'm going to actually move my laptop from my stand and let
Oh
you
my
see
God,
it.
you can do that?
So there's my vision board right now.
Yeah.
And there's this, my mission, I inspire and empower people to choose.
Is this your left-handed writing?
That's the one. Okay. Like it's
Yeah.
brutal. But over here is the dream house that Shauna and I are going to build. We've already got the land. So in the last couple of years, we've been able to buy the land. We started clearing the land. Here are the plans for the home. Like it's done. Like we're going to start this process. But why the big house, and why like the Sea-Doos and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well, we've already got a small cabin on Lake of the Woods. It's a beautiful place. It's our piece of paradise. I get to work from there with this lifestyle that we've been able to create. But why this big house? It's not about the big house.
Yep.
I'm closing in on 50. Between Shauna and I, we're like the mini Brady Bunch. We've got 5 kids. She has 3. I've got 2. Okay. For those of you who don't know the Brady Bunch, you could message Xander and ask him about it. But the point is that our kids are now, they're adults. They're ranging from 29, twin boys at 27, 25, and 22 this year. And so we know grandchildren aren't far away.
Yeah.
And so I'm already thinking there, like, and you and Maddie aren't even having little people yet. But I know you got the dog, which is awesome.
Yep.
And so for me, I'm honestly thinking call it a selfish why. I want to be so set with my finances and have this place like this how what it represents to me. This house is a place where my children and my grandchildren, we are going to create memories together.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that grandfather.
It's generational, it's generational wealth, generational joy, generational support. Yeah.
It's going to be so I do meditation every day. Shauna I get up super early, and then Shauna shows up at around 7:30. She comes in with her coffee. I stop what I'm doing, and then we do a guided meditation together and
focus on it. Yeah.
And we're both on track. So even if we have things from the law of attraction where people are asking us, hey, do you want to do this and do that? And it's like, well, does that have anything to do with what we're on right now? And if they say no, it's like, nope, because we're on target, man. Like
I love that. I dig that.
Yeah. And that, you've said this before, and I agree with you 100%. People think that the law of attraction is saying yes to the universe. And it's like, no. It's saying yes to what you want.
Saying yes to the right things. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so, So that's a powerful why. It's my grandchildren to be.
I love that. Cause I think a lot of people are afraid to go find that, like, quote unquote, more selfish why, right? Because they think, oh, as a good person, all my whys should be for other people, right? One of my favorite ones was, I don't know if you heard the story of how Bedros Keuilian built his own private gym.
Yeah, and the story with his car and his son and
all of that, yeah.
But
like for the private gym, like one of my favorite parts about it is like he told himself that he would not allow himself to have a private gym until he sold 1,000 Fit Body boot camps or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So obviously Fit Body Boot Camp is about building gyms and fitness and health and helping people get healthy. Right. But basically, like, his real goal for selling 1,000 Fit Body boot camps was because ever since he was little and he saw like Arnold Schwarzenegger working out, he was like, I want my own gym.
Yeah. And what's wrong with that?
But it's like, selfishly, it's like he just wanted a gym, but he's like, I'm going to go hit this goal and help this many people to achieve my selfish dream.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We haven't even started to dig into sales and objections really, but I think this is just so important because this really is the basis of it all. It's the why, it's the mindset, it's the beliefs. So obviously, that being said, you and I were just talking, last month alone, you sold 26K in coaching. I think yesterday you said you had a 10K day.
I
right?
did.
Like so many coaches would kill for a 10K month, right? And you had a 10K day yesterday.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So it was awesome. If you were to just give, I don't know, let's say your top 3 tips for coaches to be able to sell more, like what would your top 3 tips for coaches be?
Oh, I like that. Well, number one, I mean, and this is no BS, like follow the plan. If you don't have a plan, follow the plan. So what you've been able to put together in terms of the metrics, like all data, no drama, like that's a no-brainer. If you don't have measurable metrics, you're running, in circles. And an example that I give to a lot of retailers that I deal with is I pull this out. I'm like, are you counting the number of customers walking in? Mr. and Mrs. Customer come in. Hey folks, be with you in a quick moment. Okay, it's 2 people. Count them. So measure your metrics. So that's number one.
Yeah. So measuring and data, that's huge. I think so many people just never even do that. Like, how do you know if you're hitting targets if you're not even measuring?
Right. So that's number one. Number 2 is have a template.
Yeah.
Part of the thing that I do for retailers, I have this thing that is called the Army of One sales training system. Well, that's where SOS stems from, because that's part of your being an Army of One. And a lot of coaches are an Army of One. Well, the thing is that if you don't have a sales template, which the perfect consultation is a template, you need to have I'm a big believer in what are my top 8, top 10 questions that I can ask everybody, whether I have them on a script or I just know them.
Yeah.
Right. Like this way, not only me, but my sales staff on my team, they know what they are. How do you think we went from 7 stores to 38 in 18 months? So you
knew what you were asking and you knew what the team was asking. Yeah.
The same 8 qualifying questions back then was, so you're looking for a treadmill. Who's it for? Who else is going to use it? How are you going to use it? Where are you going to put it? How long do you plan on using it? What exactly are your fitness goals? Are there any fitness issues that I need to know about, such as ankles, knees, hips, right? Lung. We knew the question.
You had this same conversation over and over, and you mastered it from that same conversation. Yeah.
The third piece, right? So know your metrics, have a template, master objections.
Yeah.
That's because as you probably know, and I think a lot of people that are watching know, you get to that moment of truth where you have a strong belief, you have a powerful why, you have conviction, and then people unfortunately shit the bed. Go, oh, I could hear the voice inside of my head, the one right now that's saying, what little voice? That little voice inside your head that's saying, don't ask. No, don't ask. It's okay. And it's like, wait a minute. If my why is strong enough that I have the conviction to ask, because I'm going to help people walk across the finish line. And so this is where I teach people that it's a simple 2-step process. And I will literally give you the formula now for everybody. Yeah. And you could use this for your business or your sales for coaches right now. It's a 2-step process. Step 1, acknowledge. Step 2, ask a question.
That's simple. Yeah.
Simplicity is elegance. Simplicity is elegance.
Yeah.
The problem that people have is not the formula. It's the emotional response. Right. This is why the dojo's been working.
They take it personally. They take it as like when somebody says no, when they say they're not ready, they take it as a personal attack to them rather than they're one step closer to a yes.
Right. The American Retail Association has been able to show that products that are $1,000 or more, you're going to hear the word no minimum of 5 times before you get to a yes. 5. So guess what, kids? Yep. If you only get one no and you quit, see ya. Yeah. You got to keep re-asking and come at it from a different angle, not because you're pushy. Grant Cardone, I give him great credit. And I tell people this in my program. And guys, think about this from this perspective. Don't confuse my enthusiasm for being pushy.
Correct.
My belief, my why is so strong. Please don't confuse my enthusiasm for being pushy. You came to me with as you would say, a bleeding neck problem.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you.
Yep.
So if you're coming in, all of a sudden you're giving me all this, no, you're a salesperson. I'm not going to take that personally. I'm here to help you.
Well, I think about like, I think about like, especially for coaches, right? Most coaches, we could argue that most coaches, their gifts, their knowledge, their expertise, their service is some form of curing cancer.
Exactly.
It could
I love
actually
the way
be
you put
curing
that.
cancer
Yes,
in the case of like health and wellness and weight loss,
for
right?
sure.
Or it could be curing
100%.
mental cancer with, career space or, anything like that. But it is some form of curing cancer, right? And I always ask people, like, if you could cure cancer, like if you could cure cancer, but someone had to pay you $2,000 for it, right? But it would cure their cancer and it would save their life. Would you not be like you mentioned, have so much enthusiasm and so much drive around getting this out to the people that need it,
Absolutely.
right? Like,
Yeah.
would you not just take it to the end of the earth? Like, go door to door, like break down walls to make it's going to save your goddamn life.
Yeah.
Go find $2,000.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that emotional response that people have is the problem, right? They
Yeah.
get scared. And again, and you've said this repeatedly, people are saying no because they're afraid to make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
They're also afraid to make the right one.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. Well, as salespeople, we also block ourselves from making the decision to ask.
Yeah.
And then it's, how do I handle, and one perfect example of this, Xander, is the fear that people have that, hey, you know what? Your coaching's too expensive. There's two ways of looking at it. I got a discount, and then you're giving it away, which we all know those that pay attention. So stop giving your stuff away.
So that's not going to work. Yeah.
Right. But then on the flip side, we also get emotionally attached because, again, when my why and my belief is so strong and I believe so much in my program and what I'm bringing, and somebody says, Joe, like, you're crazy, man. This is way too expensive. I still have to believe in my value that I'm bringing to the table.
Yeah.
And
which is you as a person now. I think that's where it's different as a coach than pretty much any other industry, because you are the product, right?
Correct.
If it was a yoga mat on Amazon and somebody said, this is too expensive, you'd be like, whatever, I'll get the other person, right?
Sure.
But because it's you, it's like, it's hard not to take it personally.
And so this is where, with practice, and so think about it, you can get a couple of people together. I mean, I do this in groups of 6 in a room, and I practice with them. And then now I've got other people that are also putting them through the ringer on purpose. Yeah. We get you to stretch out slightly out of your comfort zone every week. Yeah. Every week. And it's live. That's the one thing about the dojo that's interesting, is that it is live training. That's why we do it in smaller groups. It's intimate. You got to practice. And now I have other people that are earning their black belt in the process, thanks to you guys helping me scale this puppy, which is awesome. So now that the people that are in the dojo are learning how to teach it. So, because if you really want to master a subject, what do you got to do?
You got to graduate to the point where you're actually teaching it. Yeah.
You got it. So that my own students are becoming the teachers within the dojo, allowing me to
work. Sounds like you've got the best pyramid scheme that I've ever seen, man.
You and Craig and Tony Robbins and everybody else have helped.
As long as it gets results.
It gets results. And what's the value? So coming back, I want to give this tip to you guys. Your service is too expensive.
Yeah.
Or, man, that's a lot of money. Or, dude, is that in pesos? It's all the same objection. It's your product's too expensive. Your service is too expensive. Step 1, hey, you know what? Thanks for letting me know how you feel. That's their opinion. It's not a fact.
Yeah.
Their opinion. So know that. Step 2, ask the question. I'm curious, what exactly are we comparing it to? I didn't say, like most people, they get emotional response. So they go, man, that's expensive. And most people go, compared to what? Or,
no, it's not.
Right. Or what are you comparing it to? And when I say you, I'm pushing you away, as opposed to when you think of the NLP in this, and I go, hey, thanks for letting me know how you feel. Right.
De-escalate.
And then step 2, what exactly are we comparing it to? And I'm bringing you in. What are we?
Get on the same side of the table rather than making it a you versus me.
And what's interesting, Xander, is oftentimes when you ask that question, hey, thanks for letting me know how you feel, what exactly are we comparing it to? They say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you can go back into your, as you say, your doctor frame. I like to call it the A game. Like, play your A game. You're the A. You're the authority. You're the advisor, trusted advisor, right? I mean, that's the key. You're the doctor. So yeah, it's expensive. Thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to? I don't know. Come back into the frame.
Yeah.
and then focus. And then, so what we do is we help create literal flow charts of where these objections can go so that you build confidence and muscle memory. That's
Yeah.
why it takes
So
practice.
it's no longer you having to think on the fly, and it's
It
no
just
longer you having
happens.
to figure. Yep.
I got to speak to my spouse. Hey, you know what? I
I think
totally appreciate that.
like I think that's so important though, right? Because people, people think like, I think of like Kahal, our head of sales, right? And everybody thinks Kahal's just some sales savant, right? Like he could like
he's good.
he's very good. But like everybody thinks like his brain just operates 10 times faster than everybody else's. It's like, no, he just practices.
Right.
He's been through the different, the different opportunities, the different, like you mentioned, the different flow charts, the different avenues that something can go, right? And because of that, he knows how to help somebody move forward and change their life,
Absolutely.
right? But it comes from practice.
And that's, and most, I think we can all agree, the majority of people, including some like I have some retail businesses that I deal with, they've been in business for 35 years and they go, you know what, Joe, I'm not doing any of this stuff. And it's crazy. 35 years. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So coaches even harder because you start off as an army of one.
Yeah.
And if you're wanting to offload this to a sales team, right? They need to learn this quickly if they're going to ramp up. So
absolutely.
And those metrics are measurable. Like you can if you're handling objections better, that means your sales go up. So you can literally measure it.
Yeah. It literally just becomes a percentage game at that point. It's like you get this percent better at this, your income goes up this percent.
Absolutely.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah. And what you've been able to bring to the table is, okay, what's my lead generation process? And I'm learning so much in terms of the DM process and what specific social media piece that I can work with. And again, email and existing database and the low hanging fruit, all of it makes sense. All of it. It's still, to me, I find that the objection handling has been something that's been this Achilles heel for a lot of people. And in this ecosystem of coaches, but it's not just coaches, Xander. I mean, I've got people in the dojo. I've got doctors. I've got poker mindset coaches. I've got weight loss coaches. I've got bicycle retailers. I got fitness equipment retailers. I've got people in the auto industry, realtors, all in these small groups together. And they're all learning off of each other because they see a correlation. Because a lot of this stuff is like, oh, damn. Yeah. You know what? That makes sense for me.
Well, regardless of whatever industry you're looking at, like it's human psychology. And I think in the end, like when you become a business owner, we have to commit at mastering human psychology. Yeah. Because in the end, like a business owner, your job as a business owner is to bridge your product or service with the people that need it. Yeah. Right? And in order to make that bridge between the two, you have to understand the minds of the people that need it. And that literally that's sales, marketing, all of that. That's what it is.
And you and your team have done such a great job of putting it in such a way where you've been able to paint the picture in terms of what's the prison that people are in.
Yeah.
And how, like the problem, agitate, solve. I mean, and there's a variety of different forms of what that, but I'm going to stick to the way that you're putting it out there. Problem, agitate, solve makes so much sense. So that if there is an objection, if you do your perfect consultation correctly, you shouldn't have any objections. The problem is, somebody at the beginning of a perfect consultation will say, yeah, I'm the decision maker. And then the price comes up. And then all of a sudden I got to go speak to my spouse. Right.
Yep.
So
it changes. Yeah.
There's a saying in retail that goes, buyers can be liars.
Oh yeah.
And, right now, it doesn't mean that people are mean. That's the other thing, folks. Like there are people that are going to unfortunately tell you the white lie because it's a smokescreen.
Because it's easier. It's easier than being honest. Honesty is actually difficult.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. Both as a salesperson who believes in what we're bringing. So if you're a coach, take his advice, and I'm pointing to you on my screen. Take Xander's advice.
You're pointing to me on my screen too, Joe, so it works.
Okay, good.
For everybody else in podcast land, Joe just pointed to me. Yeah.
But on a recent group call that I was privy to, which is absolutely awesome, you had said your wish was, actually it was a recording that I watched. You said your wish was that coaches would become lovers of sales. If people would love sales, they would do that much better. Yeah. And you're having a group chat with a bunch of your team, and Jay was interviewing you, and it was just so poignant because we have this misconception that sales is slimy, it's used car, and it's where everybody goes, or it's, you're in my bubble. And our job is, I'm here to help take these people that have said, I'm interested, I have an issue, they've raised their hand, great, problem, agitate, solve, here's how I do that. And now I'm going to pull you across the finish line because you need me.
Yeah. Because this is actually for your best interest. And that's what you mentioned it earlier, the trusted advisor frame, really, like, and one of the things I talk about is like Yoda, right? It's like, Yoda's not always nice to you. Yoda's not always going to tell you what you want to hear. Yoda's going to be honest. He's going to tell you what you need to hear. And it's not always your favorite, but he's doing it for your best interest. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's like, I always, obviously the nerd in me, that's who I always want to embody whenever I'm doing sales. Is Yoda.
I love it.
Maybe with like proper English and grammar, but
yes,
same idea.
Objections you have. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And I go with Yoda and I go with Mr. Miyagi.
Perfect.
Right? Because when you think of it, people, like, when you start the practice and you're saying, they're going like, well, I want to learn how to punch. It's like, listen, we're going to start off with the simple, like these objections first before we get to like the spouse objection. Or
you got to start off with wax on, wax off.
Right. What's with the wax on, wax off when I want to punch? It's like baby steps, man. We'll get there. And then when we start stacking objections, because as we all know, it's not just one. Sometimes Connor, who works with you, holds the record that I know of, 12 objections on one call, and he closed. So Connor Eagleson, if you're watching this, you are a black belt.
12 no's to get to a yes. So, for everybody who gets one no or two no's and they go, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Go talk to Connor.
Yeah. And he's on your team. I mean, and he's a beast, man.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I love it. I don't want to take too much more of your time because I think we've gotten a ton of sales nuggets out of this. But quick little speed round for you. Just, number one, since we are in quarantine right now, when travel opens up again, where's the first place you going?
Ooh, great question. Travel opens up again. I will probably, if like wide open, Sean and I were supposed to be working in Europe.
Yeah.
So we'd be going to London because we have a new client who, thanks to you, by the way, just signed on to our in perpetuity program. It's specific to the bicycle industry thing. And we've tripled our cost, our retail price to them. Yeah. And they still did it. And awesome. So they're in Leeds, just outside of London. So yeah, we're going to head there and they're going to be opening up 40 locations and they're going to have 40, dude. So yeah, we're going there and then we're gonna have a little bit of fun.
Bit of fun. Awesome, man. Number two, what's the best book around sales that you've ever read?
Ooh, man, that is good. The best book around sales that I've ever read. Wow. There's a few. Man, that is a good one. Oh, man. Okay. Right off the hop, I'm looking at Grant Cardone's Sell or Be Sold. It's good, but there's another one that's going to come to mind that's a little bit different. It's Mind Reader by Lior Suchard.
Nice.
This is not a sales book.
Yeah.
He's a mentalist. It's a fun read.
But this is what we talked about. It's human psychology. The better you can understand human psychology, the better you are at sales, marketing, business, anything. Leadership, all of it is human psychology.
Absolutely.
Coaching, leadership, sales, marketing, it's all human psychology.
It's ongoing. That book had a big impact on me about 2 years ago. And I leave it up there because most people, what, Mind Reader?
Yeah.
And it was fun read. It's just a fun read. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then
number three, what's your favorite book?
Go around sales?
Yeah.
Oh man. So it's funny you bring that up. I think it's technically not a sales book. It is a marketing book, but it's Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. Persuasion by Robert Cialdini is one of my favorites.
See, I'm not familiar with that book, but Confucius say bad handwriting better than good memory. So I will like that.
Last question for you.
Go ahead.
Probably the most difficult one. You say you've got a Brady Bunch household.
Yes.
Who's your favorite kid and why?
Oh, that's terrible. None. And
you hate them all?
Yeah, I love them. Yeah, no, they're all great. Even and to the credit of my non-biologicals, all five of them, they get together. And I mean, Sean and I got together later in life, and we've been together now for 11 years, married for 3. And but all 5 kids, like super, like they're just, I love them all. And even though I never understood this, because my parents were divorced when I was a kid, and I never understood my stepmom and my stepdad to say that they loved me as much as theirs. And I'm like, F off. There's no right?
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And to be like we've been able to pull and thanks, man. We pulled off a blended family, and and from the get-go. I mean, there's never been any strife. And I'm proud of all of them, because even despite COVID and everything else, they're all working, and they're all doing things that are, growing their minds. One's going to be a lawyer. One wants to is a tattoo artist, but can't work right now because of COVID. It's amazing. Like and entrepreneurial spirits. It's all of them.
That's amazing, man. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Joe, thanks for coming on. This has been a wealth of knowledge. This has been phenomenal. Where can people learn more about you?
You can learn more about me. You can go to joemarcoux.com, JOEMARCOUX, as in X marks the spot. .com. You can go to find me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or my Instagram is the Joe Marcoux. But yeah, joemarcoux.com. Best place. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, man. Thanks for thanks for joining us, Joe. For everybody who's listening to this in podcast land, if you want to catch these interviews live, go ahead and join us at xanderfryer.com/FB group. And for anybody who's interested in checking out our program, some of the things that Joe was talking about and what we teach, go ahead and go to xanderfryer.com/programs. Feel free to grab a call with us. We're happy to chat, see where you're at, and see if we can help. Joe, thanks again.
Pleasure. Thank you.